You want to know how to start a war in America these days? Try buying a ghost town and thinking peace and quiet still mean something. I should know, because that's exactly how my little battle with hell in a khaki suit began. Picture this. I spend my life running covert ops with the military, dreaming that someday, maybe I'll hang up the boots, buy myself a chunk of nowhere, and live out the rest of my days listening to wind instead of people shouting. Instead, I found myself up to my neck in signs, fines, and legal threats from the most absurd group of folks ever to call themselves an HOA. Yeah, that happened. Let me back up a sec. First time I saw Juniper Hollow, the real name, don't care who knows it now, the sun was just breaking over a stretch of busted saloon windows, painting the whole place gold and lonely. Not a sound except the wind rustling up dust and sage, creaking through what was left of Main Street. A town forgotten by everybody except a couple records down at the county office, except me. Standing there, I could see what nobody else saw. A blank slate, sure, but not empty. Potential. History. Something honest. I'd spent 20 years learning to see trouble on a piece of paper before bullets ever started flying. So when I found that little tax lien listing for parcels a whole damn town for less than a used Tacoma, I signed, sealed, and walked out of the county office with a folder so old the ink probably remembered Reagan. "You sure about this, Mr. Dillard?" the clerk asked, looking at me like I'd just bought a haunted house. "No water, no power, just sand and ghosts." "That's the point," I said, and meant it. At first, the job was simple. Cleaned out rats from the general store. If you've never smelled a nest that size, count yourself lucky. Shored up the firehouse roof, brought a dead septic truck back to life with more cursing than tools. I wasn't trying to rebuild history, just make something that worked again. For a while, it was just me, a tin cup of coffee, and the plans I doodled in an old notebook. Maybe I'd open a coffee shop in the old barber shop, paint a welcome sign, invite in artists or veterans looking for a second chance. My kind of place. No one telling anyone else what color their porch had to be. No board, no tyranny. Funny how the universe loves irony, huh? About 6 months in, things got weird. Came back one day to find a white pickup parked by the water tower. No plates, nobody inside. Brand new wooden sign in the dirt, paint still wet. "Welcome to Sagebrush Crossing, a proud HOA community." I laughed out loud. Nobody here but me, and I sure as hell never voted for an HOA. I yanked the sign, tossed it in my truck, and figured it for a prank. Should have known better. 2 days later, another sign, this one bolted to the post office, with a laminated warning. All residents must comply with HOA guidelines. Residents? It was me. Nobody else but the ghosts. Then I saw the boot prints inside, size 11s, definitely not mine. My maps, my deed copies, my GoPro drives, all rifled through, some missing. That's when the old instincts kicked in. This wasn't a joke. Someone was laying claim to my land with paperwork and plywood. So I did what I do best. Locked down every building, set up trail cameras and GPS trackers, and wrote 3 words at the top of a field notebook. Operation Ghost Town. I didn't know it yet, but I just declared war. The next morning, more signs. Hardware store, schoolhouse, church, each with the same soulless HOA logo and a list of rules that'd make Kafka roll over. All exterior paint colors must be pre-approved. Submit variance requests. Bureaucratic nonsense in a place with more coyotes than people. I ripped them all down, started digging, digitally and literally. I called the number on the sign. Lady on the line sounded like a customer service robot. "Thank you for calling Community One Management, proud partner of Sagebrush Crossing." I said, "Lady, there is no Sagebrush Crossing. I own the land, I've got the deeds." She suggested I appeal to their compliance department. I started laughing. Then she hung up. Did some digging online. Community management company, not even a legal entity, just layers of shell LLCs, all roads leading to a Scottsdale PO. Box. Reddit threads full of complaints. Fake HOAs setting up shop. Enforcing rules, scamming old folks. This was a full-scale grift. But why here? That's when I remembered the surveyor. Guy showed up with a clipboard and questions 2 months back. Nosy as a mother-in-law. Turns out he wasn't just surveying property lines. He was casing the joint. Within days, signs multiplied like rabbits. Then came the board, 3 black SUVs, half a dozen corporate types, one with a measuring wheel, another handing me a glossy folder with my buildings mapped out, buyer names penciled in. "You must be the current occupant," the tallest said. "Owner," I replied. "Deeds recorded, taxes paid." They spouted legalese about emergency charters and development agreements. "You've got 10 minutes to get off my property," I told them. The woman with the calculator eyes threatened court. I didn't blink. That night, I turned the jailhouse into a war room. Flowcharts on the wall, every LLC, every deed, every fake map connected with red string like some scene from a crime show. I called Sheila, the county clerk. She checked records, nothing on file. No HOA, no overlays. But someone had filed a subdivision claim on adjacent land and tried to illegally rope in all of Juniper Hollow. Red Horizon Holdings, the same name, buried on the fake HOA signs. Every move they made, I documented. Every fake citation, I responded with a cease and desist. Filed fraud reports. Called my niece Andrea, a district attorney who eats land scams for breakfast. "You've got enough for a task force," she said, and brought the Attorney General's office down on their heads. But these folks weren't backing off. They started playing dirty, locking up my buildings, slapping condemnation notices everywhere, stealing my files, even putting up barricades at the only road in. I turned up the cameras, went live online, showed the world every trick they tried. Video blew up. Sheila called. Someone was trying to rewrite the plat map at the county office, forging records to make my land theirs. I marched straight into the assessor's office, original deeds in hand, and laid out the evidence. They opened a felony investigation on the spot. Every escalation I matched. Dug through archives, found the original 1871 grant, my boundary line solid as bedrock. Then a break, caught their so-called surveyor on camera, Jason Merrick, a disgraced engineer tied to Red Horizon Holdings. Sent it to Andrea, who pulled in the feds. News crews rolled in, aired the story coast to coast. Did it end there? Not a chance. They tried freezing my bank account, filing fake liens, hitting me with lawsuits from 3 states. But each punch just swung them closer to the edge. I held a town hall in the old church, packed with ranchers, veterans, off-duty cops. Laid out every piece of evidence, put the whole grift up on the wall for the world to see. Just as I finished, the fake board rolled up, tried to shut us down, only to be stopped cold by the county zoning commissioner and deputies with a court order in hand. The crowd cheered so loud the dust rattled down from the ceiling. From there, it was a rout. Barricades torn down, fake signs burned in a bonfire, the first real laughter in that town in years. Neighbors, real ones, offered to help patch roofs, haul lumber, move in. People who'd lost land to similar scams showed up, evidence in hand. Andrea's task force went full RICO, freezing accounts, subpoenaing every shell company from here to Delaware. You'd think it'd end there. But these snakes had one last play. Days before the final hearing, 4 black pickups rolled in, men in fake tactical vests and drop holsters, handing out eviction notices like they were starring in their own bad action movie. They didn't count on real law showing up. Andrea, deputies, the whole sheriff's crew, cuffing every last one for impersonating officers, wire fraud, racketeering. In the end, what saved Juniper Hollow wasn't just paperwork or guns or grit. It was daylight. Truth laid bare for everyone to see. The headlines went national. Laws changed. The state launched audits and reforms. And what was left of the ghost town? It wasn't empty anymore. We fixed the buildings, laughed at our scars, and built something worth defending. Together by our own hands, no board approval needed. And every morning I walk Main Street with coffee in hand, listening to a silence that finally feels like peace. No shell company can overwrite that. So, what do you think? Where's the line between order and overreach? Between community and control? I'd love to hear your stories, your own fights with little kings and fake empires. Drop them in the comments. And if you believe in standing your ground, hit subscribe. Let's remind the world, the land still belongs to those who defend it.